You mentioned in your reporting that the Département des Ressources Naturelles du Lac-Simon, they say that there have been, in the last few months, 600 mining titles that have been allocated on their ancestral land, like just in the last few months. How is it possible that that can be done without consultation of the First Nation?
Yeah, that's essentially what the First Nations told us. They had this map of the claims that are essentially, when you look at this map, it's kind of overwhelming. The claims are everywhere around their territory. You see their reserve, they're around their lakes. And I think it's hard to understand, like, how is this possible when you don't know anything about mining? It's kind of like, how did we get here? But it's always been this way. It's just, it hasn't changed, right? Like, this story is essentially the same story that we've heard time and again. Abitibi has had gold rushes for more than a century now. And essentially, companies have always been able to just buy claims from the land, which oftentimes was Crown land. And the government was more than happy to give them that. And so they would go in, find the gold, and produce profits, essentially, right? I think that's an interesting thing to also remind people, is that gold, not unlike most minerals that we're kind of looking after, like lithium for the energy transition, gold has two main uses, which is jewelry and also stabilizing financial markets, right? It's just this material that is kind of very symbolic of capitalism, essentially, and that people are after just to make money. It doesn't really, which is always the case for any resource, but in that case, it's really just the end goal of that metal is money. And so when you're asking, how is this possible? It's just exactly, it's always been that way. And despite the fact that now our constitution says that First Nations and Indigenous peoples in Canada have to be consulted as well as accommodated, despite UNDRIP, which is the United Nations Declaration on Indigenous Peoples, there's still no actual will from both the government and the companies to actually honor those obligations. And that's so apparent in mining. It's also apparent with other extractive industries.